All right, everybody. Well, wait, thank you so much again. Not surprised, a little bit smaller crew, but I'm glad we still have some people joining tonight. My name is Tom Yazga. I am the age group director for Ozaukee Aquatics, so I oversee everything 12 and under related. I'm also the the head site coach for Homestead High School. Previously, had been with Whitefish Bay, but under some coaching changes, I'm actually closer to home now. I live here in Cedarburg, so definitely don't mind the shorter commute. Ozaukee Aquatics in itself is a year-long competitive program. We run very similar to your club soccer, club volleyball, club baseball, whatever it may be. That's got you traveling all around the state and sometimes even the country. We are that same situation for in the pool. We operate out of four main locations. We have our Homestead location, which is primarily our 12 and under program there. We have our Cedarburg location, which is home to our 13, 14 groups and older. We have our Whitefish Bay program, which is a pool to basically every group. We offer everything from bronze to seniors up there, and then the same in Kiel Kohler area as well. So we are literally spread all over the state. It's kind of ironic we still call ourselves Ozaukee Aquatics because we have branched out of Ozaukee County, but we are definitely happy to be where we are at. So all the pools have their relative site head coaches. Steve Keller, who is also the program director and COO, is leading the Cedarburg program along with Megan Olson, who is our senior program director. Down in Whitefish Bay, we have site head coach Tyler Hines. And up in Kiel, we have Elizabeth Glesner. So if you need to reach any of them specifically, feel free. Their emails on our website. You can find it under our coaches tab, which I will show you that shortly. So just kind of want to give you, again, a little overview of the program before we jump into any major details. Our program is a very fluid system in that we work very close together with all of our age groups and that we plan vertically across our year. So when we're creating programming and we're making sure that our kids are developing progressively and comfortably at the same time, we're making sure that we're moving from one group to the next, both when the kids are ready and at a rate that makes sense for their abilities. We're not going to be pushing anybody to a higher group if it's going to be overwhelming for them or the amount of intensity that's provided is too much. We're also not going to keep somebody back if they feel like they're doing really well and maybe almost feeling bored in the workouts that they're being provided. So if they're looking for more challenge, we notice that as well. And we're always ready to move kids. Our kids can move up at any time to certain groups in the program. So it's not like we're waiting for the end of a session or we're waiting for, a specific benchmark of the year. Kids can really move freely as they need to. We often like to wait for billing purposes till the end of the month. But obviously, if it's like October 3rd, we're like, nope, little Billy's got to go up to silver from here from bronze. Like, we'll move you right away and we'll make adjustments accordingly. So I've been a swimmer myself. I run it for about almost 2 decades. I ironically was in Steve Keller's second grade class when I was first introduced to his program that he started the same year. So it's very, very cool to be here full circle running the program with him now. I've been very fortunate to have a lot of great opportunity within the swimming world. So I'm really excited to share my experience as a coach and really give a chance to say thank you to all the coaches that have had such an impact on my life. And so this is really fun, rewarding job. But really, in regards to swimming, I don't think there's a better sport out there to teach you dedication and commitment to something. It's not like baseball. You can set a baseball down for a week and still remember how to throw it the next week. With swimming, you got to keep training. You got to keep showing up. You got to keep putting in the effort to make sure you're making the gains that you're looking to. And whether your child's coming for a social element or your child's coming because they want to be the next great Michael Phelps, we're ready to handle all that. We have both ends of the spectrum, and we're really willing to work with whatever abilities and goals are set out there. So as you get a little bit into the older groups, like for instance, my junior group, which is more of our state level 9 to 12-year-olds, we start talking about goals and we start kind of planning around what we're trying to achieve in this sport, and we accelerate that into high school. And so we've seen a lot of great success and many kids swimming across the country from colleges, choosing basically where they want to go and getting to go there because their swimming's taking them there, which is really cool to see. Before I go too much further, I'm happy to have her join us, Nancy Drabot. You can see her on her screen there. Nancy is our dry side of the club, if you will, queen of everything. Nancy is our team treasurer, team administrator, everything billing. She is basically your main hub if you have a question that doesn't involve something in the water. Nancy, I'll let you say hi if you don't mind, just to drop a line?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Welcome. So happy to have you as part of the Ozaukee Aquatics family. I have two girls that went through the program. One is a swimmer, and one is swimming her sophomore year at Minnesota. So I've been at this since 2011. So lots of changes and a lot more automated everything. This whole thing with USA Swimming registration is, about a year now, and it's still kicking my butt. So welcome. If I can ever be of any help or need to just get a hold of me and ask questions, just let me know.
Awesome. Yes, Nancy is great about timeliness and getting back to you. Any sort of issues you may have as far as billing, registrations, meet fees, whatever it may be, she is going to be your queen for that. Obviously, we can help you out, but she's going to have the direct answer. We may often send you to her instead. So going right to the source is often easy. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen now, give you a little tour of everything websites. So there we go. All right. So I'm here on our website. See our website here. Just want to kind of talk through a couple things and make sure that as a group, we know where to go, how to sign up for things, anything you may need as a quick hit, we can show you that right away. Something really important I think to talk about right out the gate is, again, when hopefully you saw this when you were evaluating for your training group, and where we are swimming on a regular basis. Hopefully you're talked and introduced to the idea of our sessions and how our program kind of breaks down as fees are concerned. We have 4 major sessions across our season, which basically correlate with the season of the year. Right now we're in our fall session, which is also correlated as session 1A here, which runs September 5th through the week of Thanksgiving, November 25th. Then after that, we're going to start our winter session, a bit longer, going to run from November till March. Have a little bit of a break there for a lot of schools having spring breaks at different weeks, but that late March, early April is often a good reset time. We have a lot of championship level meets in early March. We even head down to Orlando, Florida for junior nationals in the middle of March. So this is a perfect time to kind of reset and regroup. And then you see session 2A starting April through May. That's just going to take us basically till the end of the school year, right around Memorial Day. That'll be our spring session. And then May through August is our summer session. You also see in a more macro sense, we have the short course versus long course seasons. Short course is what maybe you've seen your child be swimming already in now. It's that pool that's 25 yards long. If you go to Homestead, you know that there's that big bulkhead in the middle of the pool that separates the two pools. When we go to our long course season, we actually move that bulkhead all the way to the end, and the pool is down 50 yards long. So each length that each swimmer swims is twice as long as what they've been used to swimming. We're coming up on 2024, big year. It's the year of the Olympic Games again over in Paris this summer. And so we know kids are going to be pretty hyped about that. And we're really excited about being a prominent sport in the Olympics, right? Most people tune in to watch track and field, and then swimming. Oftentimes it's on for a whole entire week of the game. So it's getting a lot of good publicity, and it brings a lot of people to the club, which is really exciting. But when they compete, they swim in that long course pool. It's a 50-meter long pool. So we often have swim meets in the summers that are long course because a lot of international swim meets or national level meets are swum in that longer competition, knowing that that's where the next step would be, is to swimming in those higher level meets in these longer pools. We still have many pools that stay short course all year long. For instance, Whitefish Bay doesn't have a movable bulkhead, nor does Cedarburg. So they stay 25 yards. Homestead is really our only long course pool. So if you're not even somebody that's going to be going to Homestead on a regular basis, no big deal. If you can get to Homestead in the summer, it's a really good experience, especially as we'll spend a lot of our time racing in that long course in the summer. So we offer practice for every single group in long course this summer. So at Homestead. So if you can ever come down, even from Kiel in the summertime, or maybe up from Whitefish Bay, we'll definitely have that available for you. As it breaks out right now, you've already signed up for the fall session, which is great. We're very happy to have you. But you're also at that time committing through this first time period, right? We're talking September until the week of Thanksgiving through November 25th. In concordance, you're going to be paying a monthly installment for the relative training group your swimmer is in on the first of each month. So the first month happened in September here when you signed up. That was kind of automatic. But then we'll bill you again on October 1st and then again on November 1st. And that'll be your 3 months for that session. You can come to as many practices as you can. There is no real practice attendance requirement, especially for our younger side. A little bit different for our older kids, but I'm sure they've already learned that by now. And let's say then as we kind of near the mid-November, we're getting close to Thanksgiving, Nancy will be sending out a withdrawal form or kind of basically a declaration of intent for the next session. So a few weeks before the session starts, she'll send out this quick Google form. And let's say you got a lot of hockey, ice skating, piano lessons pick up, you got a lot going on, and it just doesn't make sense for you to swim in the winter time. You'll just fill out this quick Google form. Just let us know that you're, withdrawing for the next session. From our end, we'll turn off your account and make it dormant within our system. And so from there, you won't be billed anything. You won't be charged for anything at all. You can have the option to still be in the email list if you want to just kind of stay up to date on how things are going, but you won't be billed. And then as you come back, let's say in the springtime, you're ready to come back, soccer's finishing up, softball's done, you're ready to come back. You send us an email and say, hey, little Billy's ready to jump back in this spring, Tom, and we'd love to get back in. We'll just manually flip on your account from our end, and you're good to hop back in. So it's a pretty easy process. We do that way as well, because when you did sign up, when you joined the USA Swimming, you had that additional registration fee for USA Swimming. If we were to go and completely discontinue and delete your account from our system, if you decided to withdraw from a session, you would have to then re-sign up and repay that USA Swimming fee. And so to avoid that, we just basically mute your account within our system. So it's a really easy light switch kind of system, if you will. The only time you're going to have to re-register every year is in September. It's kind of considered the new year for swimming, especially after the Olympics in August. It's a big reset. Everyone restarts again, and registration opens always on September 1st. So you'll always have to re-register then, but you don't have to re-register every session. If you plan on continuing, there's literally nothing you have to do. Just keep showing up to practice. It's that easy. Your billing will be automatically continued through unless you decide to turn it off. So that's pretty straightforward there. Any questions about that? I know it can be a little bit of a hot topic as it comes around in November and every session ending.
And just to confirm what Tom said, you don't need to fill out the form if you're continuing. The form is really only for those who want to take the next session off.
Yep.
So
I'll add one extra tidbit to that. So just to make sure that we're all on the same page with everything as we move into our new sessions, there is a 2-week grace period after the session starts for you to still declare your intent. So if you decide, you got that email and you saw the withdrawal form and maybe it was just a crazy day and you forgot to fill it out, and all of a sudden the next session started rolling around, you have 2 weeks to still fill that out with no penalty at all. After 2 weeks, though, if you have not declared your withdrawal for the next session, then you are committed to those dues for that next session. So just keeping everybody on the same page, making sure that we know who's coming to the pool and who to expect. We just want to make sure that our coaches are ready and that you guys are ready on your end as well. Julie, you have a question there.
I do. I have a senior swimmer that is swimming for high school.
Perfect.
So what does that mean for session B?
Great question. I can scroll down to Nancy. You want to talk about it, and I can show. Did you?
Sure. So for those of you who have a high school swimmer, right now the girls are in their high school season, which started in August, and their season typically ends the end of October. Their state meet is typically the beginning of November, and then as soon as that meet is over, the boys jump in high school and they are out of club. So as a high school boy, you will be paying for the month of September, October, and November, and you will be charged the full month, even though they only swim half the month. When high school is over, they come back and swim with Oz through the month of February, whenever their season is finished with high school at no additional cost. And then if you want to continue in March, then you just let me know so we can start the billing in March and going further.
Yep. Yeah. The boys' high school meets usually in the middle of February. So it's basically giving you those 2 weeks you missed in November in the second half of February.
Okay. So, but I don't have to do the withdrawal form or anything, do I?
It would be nice to do it. I typically look through our roster to make sure all the boys have been pulled out. Because we don't want to bill you on December 1st.
True.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks,
sure,
Julie.
thank you.
Yep, great question. Cool. So that's kind of a quick overview of how our seasons run and how our sessions run. Like I said, we have championship meets in March and then again in early August. So that's really, as a coach, what we're planning for. Couple mid-season meets that we plan for kind of as well for performance purposes. But as you're looking to really compete, and maybe this is a sport your child's really delving into, those are the months to kind of plan that, like, this is blinders on game mode in March and August, early August. So cool. Let me show you a little bit more about our website then. One thing I'll just recommend to you that whenever you sign up or whenever you come into our website for anything, make sure you're logged in right up here in the top right corner. Just make sure you're always signing in. There are a few things that you can't see if you're not logged in. So if you log in, you'll have full access all the time. Obviously, the big one right away out the gate here is our practice calendars. Right here underneath your picture slideshow, you have this big practice schedule button. Pretty easy to find there. If you also go to our member information tab right there underneath is our practice schedule. It's the first one. Here we have nothing but live spreadsheets, so we can update these in real time, all specifically to each training group. So if I go ahead and click our gold practice schedule, it pops it up. There you go. It's something that we can update even from our phone. If we're in Aruba, whatever we need to do, we can still get this and make a change. If there's a quick sudden change in practice because the pool pump broke, or we have to push things back a half an hour due to some other high school grouping in there. But every pool that you can swim at is on here. So for our gold group, we offer practices at Homestead, Keel, and Whitefish Bay. So if you want to go to any of those practices on a certain night, you're more than welcome to. And you can see, for instance, back here in the 7th of September, we didn't have a practice at Homestead on that Thursday because there was like girls' high school meet. So you could have gone to Bay instead, or go all the way up into the Chilton Valders area where we had practice there too. So this is updated in real time. You guys are very lucky. I just put October up this afternoon. So that's up and ready to go there too if you want to start planning ahead. We do start getting into swim meets in October. So there's a couple extra tidbits on there. And I've also included our sign-up deadlines for swim meets on our calendar. So just kind of something to be aware of as you're kind of planning what meets you plan on swimming. So again, that will be emailed out if we have any changes to anything short notice. We won't sneakily change something at 9:30 p.m. the night before and be like, it was on the schedule. No, we'll always email things out too. We're never gonna, one under you or something like that. So really easy to follow, easy to see on your phone too. So if you have any questions, though, never hesitate to reach out. Equipment lists. Many of you have probably already started to think about equipment, or your kids will come home and be like, Mom, I need a kickboard, or I need fins and stuff like that. On our website here, based on group, you can kind of see what your swimmer needs based on how we're training and what we're looking for. Obviously, as we get more older and more advanced in our training, we use a little bit more equipment, get a little bit more specific about certain things. So you can kind of see what you're looking for, what your kids need. If you have any questions about this stuff too, I know some of it's kind of weird. It looks like it's in a foreign language. Like, what the heck is a DMC brand fin? Like, I don't know what that means. Talk to your coaches, let us know. We're happy to help you out. The best part about all of this is you can find all of this on our team store. So you can't actually see our team store if you're not logged in. So that's another important thing. But this next link, the equipment/team store, will take you right to our Elsmore Swim Shop Ozaukee Aquatics specific page. Here you can find everything from Oz apparel if you're just looking to swag up and be the cool kid in the school, or just get a new team suit, or any equipment you may need. You got swim bags, personalized swim bags. And then again, you can start to see equipment like snorkels, pull buoys, kickboards, fins, all that stuff is on here. Again, if you have any questions about any of these specific things, more than happy to help you out. I know fins are a very hot topic often because like, what size do I get? If you are looking for a fin size, always grab your child's in the middle of your child's shoe size. So if they're a size 8, grab a 7 to 9 fin. So it's snug, but there's still a little room to grow, and hopefully it'll last them through another growth spurt before they may have to buy some more. We recommend you have your own equipment. We're not saying it's mandatory. We have plenty of equipment available and resources at all of our pools. It's just a convenience factor of knowing you have your own, easy to tote around. If you're going to Whitefish Bay one day and then you have to go to Homestead the next day, it's nice to know you have your stuff with you if you want to take it to another pool. So out of convenience, it's good to have. sometimes when you go to our resources at our pools too, some kids, sometimes lost and found goggles are a gold mine. So if you find some goggles, like it's always kids, if you lose them, they're probably swiped by somebody else, unfortunately. So keeping your stuff in a mesh bag and having all of your own equipment does help a little bit there. So just a great thing here too with this website too. All this ships directly to your house, so you can just order online. And the fun thing is that we get 5% of your purchases back to our club, so that's always cool too. Ellsmore itself actually has a really convenient location at the Schrader YMCA in Brown Deer. They have an in-house shop there too, so we have a lot of swim meets at the Schrader YMCA that if you're there, you can certainly grab something really quick, goggles, new paddles, a new suit, whatever you may need. You can get it right there in the store too, which is very convenient. So good stuff
I
there.
just want to say something quick.
Yes.
They are only open during the week on Tuesdays, I believe, but then usually when there's a meet, they are open.
Yeah.
They also have a location in Brookfield, so that has more regular hours.
Sure.
Um,
And we're getting to a point now too where like we're through the craziness of like everybody trying to buy things early in the season. So if you bought something now, they're pretty good about shipping it out pretty quickly too.
Yeah. And we'll be, I will be getting out information early next week about our personalized cap order and towel orders if you're interested in that.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, you've probably seen some of the kids already wearing a personalized cap. Those are always fun to have. It's nice to have that little bit of autonomy. And as a coach, I appreciate seeing some names on the side of the head sometimes when they're in the water. But yeah, those are fun and a cool way. So we do those personalized cap orders maybe 3 or 4 times a year. You get 2 caps in every bundle that you buy. So, if you want to plan ahead and just get a bunch, you certainly can. Nancy will have an email out about that shortly, as she said. Swim meets. All right, looking at our next tab here, coming back to our main page. If you come over here to our swim meets, I have a PDF of just our meet schedule available here. So if you want to look macro and see everything that's going to come across the year, right now I have 2 different links. We have our fall session, so anything that's happening currently in the session that we're in, and then anything happening up until our break in the spring. So our fall and winter session meet schedules are here. With these, you can kind of see, again, all the meets coming up in the session that we're involved in. So we have our first meet coming up next Saturday, the 30th over in Germantown, which is fun. Any meet here that's completely in white is for any age group of our program. So littlest guys to our oldest. The ones in blue are specifically for our senior athletes who are coined our 13 and overs. And then we have our orange ones, which are specifically for our age groupers, which are our 12 and under groups. So if you're looking kind of at age level or time frame of when kids are swimming, that's all available for you here. The big column there is that far right, the registration deadline. I'll talk about how to sign up for a meet in a few minutes here. But that's a good date to have in mind and just kind of be aware of, like, if I want to go to this meet, I know I need to be signed up to compete at that meet by X date. So we will have quite a few more meets in our winter session. It is a month longer and we have a few more championship meets. So you can see there's quite a bit more going on. We'll have a few travel meets as well. We'll head down to over to Madison in the new year. For instance, this first meet here of the new year, the 5th through the 7th of January in Madison. It's at the new UW Natatorium. It's a beautiful facility, beautiful pool. We make a team trip out of that one. Everyone stays in a hotel. We do some team bonding activities. It's a lot of fun. It's a great way to build some chemistry. And so if that's kind of something different and unique that maybe your child hasn't experienced yet, I think they would really get a kick out of it. So definitely one to highlight there. But again, a lot of different meets going on across the year. You can print this out, fill in your calendar as you see fit. Really easy to follow along with. If you also come to the main page of our website, if you just scroll down towards the bottom here, you're going to see the 6 major upcoming events that we have. When you click on these, you can get a really nice description of the event. So I click our first one, which again is our Rocket Aquatics meet next Saturday. And here you can just see a nice little synopsis of everything that you need to know. Again, it's happening on September 30th. The registration deadline already did pass last week for this one. It was a quick one. So September 17th. And then again, we can see here, it's at Germantown High School. In the morning, it's going to be our 8 and under athletes and our 13 and over athletes. And in the afternoon is our 9 through 12. They can swim up to 4 races for this one. we'll post things like the meet information where you can see the event lineups and things. But also then as we kind of get things set up, I'll start putting more things like, for instance, this meet entry report here to kind of give you a full confirmation of what your child is swimming. So let's talk a little bit about how to actually sign up for a swim meet. I'm going to use one that's not already passed because that's a little bit easier for all of us. Let me come back to front page here. So if we are signing up for a swim meet, I'm going to choose our fall classic. That's a great meet coming up here, October 13th through the 15th. We're going to be hosting that one at Homestead. If you're not sure if your child's ready for a swim meet or not, this would be a really beautiful start. Gives them a good 6 weeks in the water to kind of get used to training and get into routine of things. We host it at Homestead. All of our coaches are going to be there. All their friends are going to be there. It's a low key, low intensity environment. So a really nice way to, dive in, if you will, pun intended, to a swim meet life. So if I want to go to this swim meet, I just go ahead and I can click this edit commitment button. Again, you got to be signed in order to do this. So make sure you sign in before you jump through that. And then down here, you'll see the member under your account name. So that's myself here. And right now I'm undeclared. I haven't decided if I'm going or I'm not going to this meet. All I got to do is click my member's name, which would be your child's name at this point. And then from here, choose my declaration. Either yes, I want Tom to go to this meet, or nope, we're not going to attend this one. You don't have to go in and select no for every single swim meet if they're not going. Don't worry about that. We just need to know if they are going more than anything. We'll assume if you don't sign them up that they're not going. But if you do sign them up, then we can definitely get a plan that they are. As soon as I click yes, most of the time right now, as long as we have the files provided for us, all the events that your child can swim are then pulled up. They'll be relative to age groups. So you'll see, like, for instance, where it says open right here, if you have an 11-year-old, it'll say, for this meet specifically, it'll say 11-11, because this meet that we run is going to be called a swim your own age meet, which means that our 11-year-olds will only race 11-year-olds, 10-year-olds will only race 10-year-olds, and so forth. I'm in the open division because you don't normally have a 32-year-old swimming in swim meets. So that's a little bit different. That's why it says open, because I'm in the senior category or the high school age athlete or higher. So let's say I want to swim, or if you like, you can choose the events for your athlete. If not, us as a staff will choose events. So if you just want to say simply yes, sign us up, and then just hit save, perfect. You're good. We can worry about choosing events for your athlete at a different time. If any of these events, like, I don't know what that means, what the heck is a medley? Like, don't worry about that. We can take care of it. But if you know what your child wants to swim, or they want to give some input on what they swim, you can simply click those events. How this is broken out is you can see that every blue line here is breaking up our different sessions of our swim meet. So day 1 is actually going to be Friday night. Day 2 is Saturday, and day 3 is Sunday. So as you kind of plan accordingly, that's what you're going to want to look for. And so let's say I want to swim the 200 butterfly on Friday. I just click that little toggle box. I want to swim the 100 freestyle on Saturday and 50 free on Sunday. Just click save, and boom, your child's entered. It's that easy. I see it on my end. You're all good to go. With this, there was this little note section up here as well. So if there's something that we need to know specifically about your athlete or maybe their schedule, for instance, let's say Tom cannot attend Saturday. Perfect. I see that note on my end when I'm choosing entries. And so I will know not to put Tom in any events on Saturday. That's simple. Or let's say Tom would like to swim the mile. Awesome. I see that note. I'll be like, absolutely. And I'll make sure I choose that event for him to swim that. So if your child has a preference on races they want to swim, we'll definitely, take those into consideration. If we see your child is doing nothing but the 50 freestyle, we got to branch out a little bit. We're not going to specify that early at a young age. So we want to make sure they're swimming a lot of things and getting a lot of experience. So we'd probably choose a few more events with that event as well. But that's a good place to put any notes, or say sometimes like, hey, Billy has a soccer game at noon. I'm not sure if we can stay the whole time. So maybe can you just put him in like the first couple events in case he can make those and not worry about the later half the afternoon. If you have a note or an explanation, we've seen it all. So you're not going to surprise us with anything that comes up. So whatever needs to go in that box goes in that box. No problem. But it's that simple. That's all you got to do. You can toggle yes, click the events, or not click the events, hit save, and then they're in the meet. So once the athletes are in the meet, Then what I will do is after that registration deadline has passed, it's usually set up. And for instance, our meet here is set to close on October 1st. So what that does, it gives me about 2 weeks to one, we're hosting the meet. So there's a lot of extra work that goes in with that. But it gives me some time to give you guys a preliminary report of the events that your athletes are swimming. So I'll send out a PDF that basically says, here's what your athletes are signed up to swim. And then I'll give you about a 3 to 5 day grace period to say, if you need to make any changes, you want to swim different things, your athlete's not sure if they want to swim that race, we want to make some changes to all of that, you just let me know. I'll make those changes before we submit final entries to the club that's hosting the meet. Once the entries are final, then that's it. We can't really change events usually. If we can, would have to be at the meets. It wouldn't be anything like the Wednesday before it starts on Saturday. We just have to wait at that point until we get to the meet to see if we can do that. There's one process to a swim meet and entering called deck entering, where it's literally like, I'm not in the swim meet or you're not in a certain event, and you just show up on deck and say, hey, is there room for me to swim? If an athlete were to do that, they would just come talk to their coaches and say, I know Billy was wavering on the 200 fly for a long time, but he wants to do it. Can he deck enter it? I would go up to the meet host and say, hey, is there any room or open lanes in the 200 fly that Billy could swim this race? And if there are, he can get in. If they're not, they will not create another heat of that race for that. So they would say, no, I'm sorry, he can't swim that race. So it's just a way to keep things organized. But if there's a chance they can swim, we'll try and honor it as best we can. Let me just toggle back here. So for instance, that Rocket Aquatics meet here. Sorry, Nancy, go ahead.
Oh, Tom, can you just address how parents can see what the limit per day or per meet is for entries?
Sorry.
How they know how many? Yeah.
Yep. Let me jump back over here. So if I come back to me, if you look, I was jumping a little bit too fast there. Sorry, folks. Look over here on the right side in that blue highlighted bar. You can see how many max entries there are per session. So IE stands for individual events. So when the athlete is only racing by themselves. So on Friday, I could only pick 2 of these events. On Saturday here, I can choose 3 individual events. And then I also have the opportunity for a relay. I just know this because I wrote the meet, and I know that we have relays offered on Saturday and Sunday, but there are none on Friday. That's why it's 0 on Friday. But they can do a total combination of 4 races then. So up to 3 individual swims and 1 relay event. As a staff, we always choose relays. There really is no parent say in relays, but I will say that as often as we can, we try and get as many kids on relays as possible. A relay is made up of 4 swimmers at a time. So the tough blow is always when we have like 7 swimmers signed up in an age group, or we have 11 swimmers signed up in an age group, or even just 3. You got to have a multiple of 4, 8, 12, 16 in order to complete a relay. So as long as we can make them, we will. And we'll give kids opportunities as much as possible with those. As it gets to more of the higher level meets and the more championship mode meets, we often try and put our best foot forward as a club and represent ourselves as best as we can. So we'll usually take our 4 fastest on those relays and just make sure we're honoring their abilities too. So yes, that's right there on the side. And I will also put often, as you can see here in the meet descriptions, I often include it in the description that like, oh, hey, at this Rocket Aquatics meet in next Saturday, you can swim a maximum of 4 races. So if you're choosing your events, then you know what you can swim. Just to show you, yes, Julie, sorry, go ahead.
No, you could have finished. I'm sorry.
That's all good. I saw you. I'm all ready.
Okay. So I just want to clarify, because the previous swim team that we swam for, the coach put in all the events like my son would swim in.
Okay.
So we never had to declare, we never had to commit. It was, he said, you're swimming this, and we're like, okay. So granted, I mean, my son knows what he needs to swim.
Yep.
Because he's a senior. But he's with Tyler. Tyler would have the over authority say of what my son's going to swim. So like if my son says, I want to do the, backstroke, and Tyler's like, I don't think that would be the best for you. Maybe we'll try this. So coach kind of has the final say.
In a way, yes.
Okay.
I think personality and coaching style wise, we still want to respect the athlete's decisions and choices. Because if they're choosing a certain event, they're probably passionate about swimming it and they want to swim it well. They're motivated to do it. So we'll respect that. Like I said, I know that your son being a senior in high school might be in a different state than maybe like our 7-year-olds or 8-year-olds.
Right, right.
Where he might be a little bit more like knowing like, oh yeah, I'm definitely a backstroker or I'm definitely a sprint freestyler. So we're not going to be like, nope, you're going to be swimming the fly or you're doing the mile this time. Like we're not going to be that ridiculous, but you know, for our younger ones, we want to branch them out a little bit more and try new things, but still respecting what they're choosing. So
Gotcha.
love it in general. If athletes are trying to swim, I'd say we usually offer 2 to 3 meets in a month. If they're getting to one or two of them a month, meets are the best way to really, you know, kind of assess your progress and practice and how training's been going for you. So, you know, if you can get to a meet or two, that's great. But we're not going to force kids to do certain meets. On the senior level, we strongly encourage certain meets. Like, for instance, we have some prelim final meets in November that are really great opportunities to race. And we just love to have anybody that can make those meets to go. We're just not going to be somebody to say, like, you absolutely have to swim this meet and this is the meet you're going to. You still have that autonomy to choose which meets you're going to. So.
Okay. I do have one other quick question about meets.
Yep.
I know during the high school season, if we get permission, then they can swim in, I believe it's 1 or 2 club meets.
Yep.
Is that a requirement? Is that just an option? Is it?
That's just an option. We will have some
Okay.
fun opportunities for our, for instance, we're going to be heading down to Illinois, Lake Forest, Illinois for a swim meet right after the new year where the boys are still in high school season. But they could use one of their WIAA exemption meets and travel with us and be a part of that if they wanted to. So, yep. And since you've already paid for this session, you're still like, we would need to kind of figure out the plan as far as registration and making sure we're keeping your account active during that period if you plan to do that. But that's something we can talk about as it comes closer. So,
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. iPhone, good question. What are non-glow swimmers? Yes. WGLO, that's a specific swim meet called it's an acronym for Western Great Lakes Open. It's a big prelim final meet. It's a pretty nice mid-season test for a lot of our higher level athletes. There are qualifying times for that meet and some other meets across our season where you have to have a specific time in order to go to that meet and swim in those races. The WGLO meet is a pretty fast meet. The qualifying times are at or sometimes faster than the state qualifying times. They make it a pretty specific meet about who's going to that one. So if your athlete does not have a WGLO time standard, then they would go to that other meet that we offered as well. So just for everyone's benefit, we have a weekend coming up in, let's see here, I'll come to our November schedule. We have a weekend coming up here, the end of our middle of November, where we have 2 different meets going on at the same time. So that Western Great Lake meet is that qualify only. You'll see that when there's qualifying time standards that people need to make in order to go to that meet. So this is a meet that's available to anybody that doesn't have those WGLO times, but they can still go race on that weekend and have a meet. We'll obviously have coaches there. It's not like we're sending all of our coaches to one meet. We'll platoon ourselves and be at both pools. And that meet itself is actually a really great meet itself. It's a 3-day meet. There's some prelim final opportunities for athletes on Saturday. So it's a really good opportunity for kids to race in the middle of the season, especially as things kind of quiet down meet-wise around Thanksgiving and the holidays. So it's a good kind of mid-season check, if you will. So iPhone, I hope that helps you out. Splendid. So that was how to sign up for a swim meet. Any questions about how to do that? Okay. And again, don't feel like you have to go through every single meet and say no. We just need to know yes. If you don't sign up for it, we assume you're not going. Every once in a while, we may reach out and be like, hey, you know, is Billy available to swim in this meet? We'd love to have him if he could. He didn't declare intent. And if he can, awesome. If not, no stress. Let's see. So that's about swim meets, but let's come back to that fall classic meet because that's going to kind of help us delve into our next section as well. Our fall classic is one of our 4 major hosted meets that we have across the year. We typically host 1 per session. So obviously we're in the fall session, so we're going to have the fall classic. This is our first meet that we have to instill our volunteer requirements. And so from you guys, there's a little bit of work. We're We're not asking a lot, but it will be very, very beneficial to us. You'll see Nancy and I on deck at these 3-day extravaganzas that we host, basically not sitting still. We're just kind of running around like madmen with our head cut off, just putting out little fires everywhere. But that's where you guys come in and help us out a lot. We have a requirement that if you have an athlete competing in the Fall Classic, that you will then help us volunteer for 2 sessions worth of volunteer help. So to help break that down, there are 5 total sessions in that meet. We have a Friday PM session, which is going to be more for older kids. We offer longer races that day. So usually our 11 and older athletes will be in this one. 10 and unders will have the night off yet. But then we have a Saturday morning session, which is specifically for our 13 and over athletes. And then Saturday afternoon, our 12 and under athletes will come in and swim. And then the same process happens on Sunday. So each of those different age groups racing is a session. So we have 5 across our 3-day weekend. If you have an athlete competing, right, somebody in your family needs to do 2 sessions of volunteering. So this could be one individual person coming in on Saturday morning and Sunday morning to do a job and help us out. It could be as simple as timing behind a lane. It could be helping out with the awards table. It could be helping out with concessions. There's a lot of really easy jobs. They're all something that you can learn within a minute if you've never done them before. There's nothing hard about them. I can assure you of that. You're not going to mess it up. Or it could be that if you have 2 people attending, you could have 2 people work in the same session and knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. So you could have both of you come on Saturday afternoon. One person could be timing, one person could be running the scoreboard, and boom, those are your 2 volunteer requirements. You guys are done. That's it. That's all we need. It doesn't seem like a lot, but I can assure you from our end, it is very, very much appreciated. So when you come to our website, and just kind of point this out, when you're, again, logged in, you'll see we have an extra tab for that meet, and that's our edit job sign up. So if you click that one, it'll take you right to this job sign up where you can see all the different jobs and all the availabilities of how you can help out. Disclaimer, I made a very skeletal, very vanilla template right now for the purpose of showing you how to do it. Please don't go sign up with this one. I'm going to take it down after this. I'm really good at forgetting about that though. So don't go sign up. I'll have an official one coming out in about a week. So really easy though. So again, let's say I want to work admissions. Again, you're just setting up shop right in front of the main entrance there at Homestead and just taking money and giving tickets in return. All you got to do is come over here and find the appropriate session. So again, you can look by date. So that's going to be the easiest way. So I can see, 10/13, that's Friday. 10/14, the first 10/14 is the morning session. The second one is the afternoon session, and so forth for Sunday. And you just find a slot that works for you. So I'd already done it once, but let's just say I want to do announcing again or admissions again. Just click that toggle form, click that green plus sign up. And then here, if it's not going to be you personally working, we ask that you put the name of the person that is going to be working there instead. So, well, I've already got my one sister doing it, so let's bring the other sister too. So Betsy's going to help my sister Meg. They're both going to be working the admission table. There we go. So now I'm signed up. We see that it's not necessarily personally you, but we have who is working, so we can make them a name tag, so our volunteers can check in on time and make sure we're all set there. So again, you just have to come through the list and choose 2 of these jobs. If it's one person working, you got to pick 2 different sessions. You can't do one person doing 2 jobs in the same session. I know they're not very hard jobs, but we don't want you to lose track and kind of forget where you're supposed to be. So either you yourself working 2 different sessions or 2 people working the same session. And if you want to help out more, we're never going to say no. So you just come choose through a lot of great things here. Our actual template will be much smaller. We don't need all these crazy jobs that are in here right now, but I'm going to unshare because some kind of highlight stuff makes it easier to talk about. If you are in the swim meet. So if you are in the swim meet, we need 2 sessions of volunteer help. I know weekends can get crazy, and some of you have multiple kids, and many of them don't have anything to do with water, and they're out playing soccer and baseball and whatever it may be right now. And so you're like, nope, I'm dropping my kid off. I got to be at 3 soccer games, and I have a birthday party at 4. I can't get there. So we have a buyout option for that volunteer requirement. It's a $75 per session rate. So if you can maybe come to one of your two, but you can't make the other one, you can pay $75 and you're off the hook. You're not going to be scolded. There's no finger wagging. You're safe. But that money does help us as far as providing produce and goods for concession stands, for the hospitality, and just general equipment to make sure we run the meet smoothly. The only time that you're going to get a finger wag is if you sign up for a job and then you commit to it. We see you on the job sign up and then you don't show up. All right. Unless we obviously hear like, hey, I woke up, I got COVID. I got a sick kid at home. Our dog ran away. I don't know what's going on. We just need to know in some capacity, and obviously if it's an emergency, please don't like stop whatever you're doing to let us know. Like, let us know maybe on Monday or Tuesday after the meet if it's that dire. But if we don't hear from you at all and within like a 3 to 5 day span after the meet that you have no reason why you didn't volunteer, there's going to be a $150 fine per session that you did not attend. So if you signed up for both sessions and you didn't show up for either, you're looking at a $300 fine because really we are counting on you. There's a lot that myself, especially, as a coach, like I don't want to be helping out the concession stand when I should really be focusing my time on the kids and giving my attention to coaching them. So we just need to make sure that you guys are there helping us out. It's really going to be 3-4 hours at most of a commitment at a time. It's really fast. It goes quick. And most of the jobs allow you to actually watch your kid while they're swimming. So it's even better. You're not really missing out on a whole lot and will never stop you from watching your kid. So if you're working at the awards table and Nancy's heat's coming up in 3 minutes, like go watch it and then go back out and do your thing. Like by all means, we're not going to stop you. So
and if you have middle school or high schoolers
yes.
in your family that need volunteer hours, we will be happy, and that will take your volunteer session off your hands, and it's kind of a win-win.
Yeah.
We kids can't be too young because we want to make sure that they are able to follow through on the job. Yeah. And sometimes that can be tricky when they're under 10 years old. So
yeah, if you have somebody under the age of maybe 14 coming to volunteer, just send me an email to make sure that we're all good so I know what job they're signed up for and what they're doing so we can kind of plan accordingly. If they're signed up to be our meet marshal and they're having to supervise parents or something like that, probably not a job for a 10-year-old. So this is all to say too, let's say you're not coming to the meet. Guess what? You're off the hook. No worries, no stress. You are not required to volunteer. We don't charge you any money. There's no late fees. There's no buyouts. If you don't have anybody in the meet, you do not have to do any volunteer requirements. That's not a reason to say don't go to any swim meets that we host. We'd love you to be at our swim meets. We want kids to compete and really experience those for how fun they are. So we get it though. Schedules are busy. You may not be able to make it to every single meet. So if you can't go to a swim meet that we host, you do not have any volunteer requirements. There are never going to be volunteer requirements at a swim meet from you that we don't host. So like when we go to, let's say a meet in Madison, you're not going to be required to volunteer. Don't worry about that. It's only when we host a meet. Right now, we are pretty much only hosting meets at Homestead. We may once in a while host meets at Cedarburg. We're trying to get our foot in the door better with Whitefish Bay. Their rec department's got a pretty stringent schedule right now though too, so it's kind of tough to get down there. So Homestead's been our easy source and it's got a lot of great seating, so it makes it easy to do. The only thing I'll say is that we do reserve the right as a program to adjust the amount of requirements based on the brevity of the meet. We've been fortunate enough to run the long course state meet for our 13 and over athletes the last 2 summers. And so we've needed volunteers from our club to come down to Schrader YMCA and help out with that. Same rules apply, that we had athletes that if they were in the meet, we needed people to come and help out. But we had to up it a little bit and say 3 sessions for that state meet because it was 8 total sessions long. It was a 4-day meet. We needed more help. So that's really the only time any of our 3-day meets or 2-day meets that we have aren't going to be that demanding. It's just if we happen to be hosting a state meet, which we are not this year. I know that already this calendar year, we're off the hook there. So that's just kind of one little tidbit to throw in there. Questions about that? Volunteer requirements, anything of that nature. Cool. One little bit more of information just for you is our fundraisers. So we have a couple of them across the year. One major one that we do require all of our team members to be a part of. The rest are just optional and just give you some nice perks. But the big one we have is called our swim along. Very similar to maybe a free throw-a-thon or a slap shot-a-thon, whatever it may be. Our kids are going to come in and they are going to have to swim a amount of laps of the pool that's a little bit more than they're used to or more than they normally do in practice. So it's a bit of a challenge, if you will. Even our youngest kiddos who maybe in our bronze group are swimming 25 to 50 lengths of the pool at a time, they're going to come in and they're going to do 75 to 100 lengths of the pool. So it's a bit more for them. It's a fun little challenge, but they all get to enjoy it because they get to write their own workouts, and there's a donut and a t-shirt waiting for them at the end of it. But this is our big fundraiser of the year, where we really use these funds to help make sure that we have everything of the latest and greatest for as far as equipment and supplies for our athletes, and resources are totally available to all of them. And that we can go to these really fun meets that are in Madison and maybe in Illinois or down in who knows, Iowa or Missouri. We have some great opportunities. So the swim along happens in May, late May, early June. And what we require is that every family, so this is not per swimmer in your family. So if you have a family that has 3 swimmers, don't worry, this is per family. So a total of $100 of fundraising donations must be made. So again, if you have 3 swimmers in the family, you don't have to raise $300. You just got to raise $100. If you are able to raise that $100, then you're all good. Let's say you raised 75 of those $100. We would have to bill you the last $25 to meet that $100 quota that we're looking for from all of our families. To perk it up and make it more exciting, we obviously have more incentives as you increase your fundraising. So as the kids raise more and more money, we have tiers in which they earn Elsmore gift cards and other fun prizes that they can use towards getting some new swag for their swim bag, or spicing up with some fun caps and stuff like that. To the ultimate winner, getting a $300 gift card to Elsmore for being the top fundraiser across our team, which is pretty cool. As that comes around, we're going to have an online platform where your athlete can create a profile for themselves. You can send out a link, kind of like a GoFundMe, if you will, to emails and social medias where they can click and donate right to your athlete. There's a chance for your athlete to write down like, hey, I'm doing the swim-a-thon. It's going to be a really hard challenge, and kind of provide a personalized message about it. And so it's a really cool, a fun opportunity. All of our athletes come to Homestead to host that and to swim that and partake in that at the same time. It's a cool little opportunity. And again, those funds are just really vital for us to be able to function and keep providing the best for our athletes, like we always like to do. Trying to think. If you are not in the spring session when that happens, you are not required to be a part of it. So you have to be an active member in order to be a part of that. So if you've already decided to, hightail it after March is done and you're not going to come back in the spring, then don't worry about it. But we want to make sure that's on your radar in case you plan on swimming throughout the year. Raising money too can be a fun way. You can kind of branch it out and just say like, hey, I've got to swim 100 lengths of the pool. Would you like to donate per length? And if somebody donates 10 cents per length, well, there's a $10 donation. There's a way to choose the monetary value that they donate online, or if they want, you can get a verbal commitment or get a check or even cash and just bring it right to your site head coach. So whether you go to Homestead, you can bring it to me, go to Cedarburg and give it to Steve. You can just hand those actual physical checks or cash off if you don't have an online donation. Is there any questions about that swim along event? Cool. Pretty easy, pretty fun. Kids enjoy it. They get a free t-shirt out of it, and donuts. So always a good time. A couple other ones real quick. We have our growth gift card sale that we do in the spring as well. Cedarburg has a wonderful garden center, growth garden center, excuse me. Too many G's. That they have beautiful plants, beautiful flowers. They sell all the way through mid-July, I want to say. Like, you can guarantee getting some really nice product through July. We offer a $20 gift card that you can buy, that people can buy from you, in which Growth gives us $5 back towards our club of that gift card. So just a fun little way. That's not mandatory, but if you've got a green thumb and you really like, doing that stuff, and you got friends that enjoy gardening too, it's just a nice way to, they enjoy the gift card idea, but they're also contributing to your child's programs and the passions that they're involved in. And we like that. Coach Steve and I, we always have a annual competition to see who can sell more girls gift cards between us. So it's always fun, but just something else there. Trying to think, we have a mom sale. Maybe seen the emails about that already now too. We just had that sale going on as well. So Nancy's taking care of that one already, but hopefully
The deadline was today, so we're done.
We're done.
Yeah.
So, mum's the word on that one. Hey-o. But that's it. That's really all the fundraisers we have. We don't require a lot from you guys. We know that you guys are busy, and we are passionate about making sure swimming is a great thing for your athletes. So we want to take the brunt of the work and make sure that you guys don't feel the pressure of that. So not a lot to be asked of, but again, just kind of planning ahead for those volunteer requirements and those fundraisers is all we need. So with that, I made it. 7:56, 4 minutes to spare. Just a couple quick notes. Again, now that you're here, welcome. We're really, really excited to have you. Our coaching staff, and myself included, are very passionate about swimming and all the opportunities it provides. I can firmly attest that I would not have been where I am right now and giving this meeting if it weren't for swimming, not because it's my job, but my actual career. It's been a blessing to be a part of Ozaukee Aquatics my entire life. And we're really excited to share our passion for swimming with you guys. And know that if you ever need anything at any point, please contact myself, contact Nancy, your site head coach. I'm kind of addicted to my email, sadly. So if I'm not coaching, I'm checking it. So I'm always around. And if you ever need to go to a different pool, your family, you're part of the community. So Homestead is as much as your pool as Cedarburg is, and the same as Kiel and the same as Whitefish Bay. So as long as there's a practice available, you're more than welcome to attend it. Yeah, it's great. We're excited about this new year. We got a lot of new opportunities as far as traveling to new swim meets and trying some new things out. We're excited about the few, bringing Tyler on, for instance, down at Whitefish Bay. He's a brand new head site coach down there, and there's a lot of enthusiasm with him. And we're already working great together, and I'm really excited about the things we're going to do on our age group side. So, yeah, I can't thank you enough. If anybody has any questions that might be good for the group, feel free to write in the chat. Shout out now if you need to.
Can I just say a couple things?
Mm-hmm.
There's, I know you all registered on our Ozaukee Aquatics site, and I just want to clarify, there is also registration with USA Swimming. And last year, September of 2022, that registration now has to be done on a separate hub, which is the USA Swimming site. So we do need to make sure that that registration is complete. For anybody that's new, that does carry your any type of insurance if you should, hurt yourself on deck, and you cannot compete in meets unless you are registered. But I will be following up with each of you if I don't see that you're registered, and help you along if there's any questions. But there's, we refer to two different registrations, our Ozaukee Aquatics Team Unify, and then the USA Swimming. I just wanted to make mention too, any meet fees, those are billed to your account. So once you've passed the deadline, I know for the Rocket Aquatics meet coming up, Tom sent an email out to everybody who may not, you may not be registered, but if you are, you have a little bit of time to say, hey, we are not going to be able to go to this meet, or I need a change in my events. But once those meet fees are meet entries are finalized, the meet fees are finalized as well. And Ozaukee Aquatics pays the other team the fees on your behalf, and then they are billed to your account. So I always make sure that I notify families as soon as they've been posted to their accounts. I'll send an email to you and let you know. And then all the billing is done on the first of the month, which would include meet fees and your regular session fees. And each of you would have a credit card or an ACH on your account, and that would take care of those fees.
Yeah, you never need to bring a check to a practice to pay for a swim meet or anything like that. That's all done online, so no stress there. iPhone, another great question. Do they need to have their team cap and swimsuit before the first meet they attend? No. We are providing caps to the athletes, so I apologize if they have not gotten one yet. We just had to make a new order. We didn't realize how much we had run out at the end of the season this past year. So we have a whole bunch coming. So they will get, all of our new athletes will get caps as soon as we can get them out to you guys. And then team suits, we'd love you to have them if you have them. If not, no stress. It's just a good look to all kind of unified when we're going to these meets. I know some championship level meets where we wear different fancier suits may not have an Oz logo on them, but it's nice to have a team suit and an Oz suit because it actually saves your practice suit quite a bit. You know, your practice suit is being worn much more often and more regular, where it's going to probably it's going to deteriorate a little bit quicker than a meet suit will. So if you have a separate meet swimsuit just for meets, it stays a little bit tighter, a little bit longer, and just feels a little bit better on your body as you're racing. I recommend having a separate team suit for swim meet. So if you have questions about sizing, there is a size guide on that Els Morris website when you're choosing the swimsuit, so you can kind of help figure out measurements and sorts. Or feel free to talk to some teammates. I'm sure a lot of kids have suits around. I know maybe your kid's in a lettered size suit right now, like small, medium, large. And everything that you buy is going to be based on a even number. So like 22, 24, 26 size suit. It's a little bit different, but a couple run throughs and you're going to figure it out pretty easily. So you'll kind of know where you need to hang out. So no, it's not required. If you got it, great. No stress otherwise.
And use Elsmore as a resource too. They're very good. They taught me how to size my kids. I had no idea what I was doing. So they're very helpful.
Yes. Great. Any other questions for the good of the group? Awesome. If you have any personal questions, I'd be happy to stick around and I'll just wait here a few minutes if I need to. Happy we got through a full live recording with no interruption this time. So thanks for sticking around for that. And I will be posting this to the website. So if anybody asks you about the new orientation, and I'll send an email of it too, that it's going to be on our website under the resources tab so you can view it later. So with that, you guys, thank you so much. We're so excited to have you in the program. If you have any questions, need anything at any time, please don't hesitate to ask. We're really looking forward to doing some great things this year, and we can't thank enough that you're a part of it. So thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. See you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.